of this video is to take you through a Newsela article as well as the quiz and just give you some tips and tricks for taking the quiz successfully so that you can really show us what you know and what you understand when you read. So I'm going to actually just go through a couple of the quiz questions. I know there are 4 of them, but sometimes that gets to be kind of long. So we will just go through a couple of them in the interest of saving time, but we'll also read the article. So here's how I'm going to approach reading this article so that I can get the best quiz score possible. So first of all, I'm just going to do a quick preview. My teacher has assigned this for me. Thank you, Mrs. Hagan. Here's the title of it. How's this for a classroom exercise? So I'm thinking there's something to do with exercise. I don't know if it means like the working out exercise or the exercise that you do like for a practice, like math exercises to practice. So that's my wonder. I can see that it was published in the Chicago Tribune on October 4th, 2015. So as I'm speaking right now, still a fairly recent article. I see a picture and it looks like kids must be in a classroom working because I see the books and I see they've got writing utensils. Looks like this must be the teacher standing up in front of them. Kind of notice how it's kind of an unusual classroom. It's not desks all in a row, they're at tables, but I see lots of books. So I'm wondering if they're maybe in a language arts classroom. I'm not really sure. I'm hopefully going to find that out as I read. I'm going to go over here and open up the quiz because here's what I'm going to do. To know what questions I need to answer, I have to look at the questions first so that I know what I'm reading for. So I'm opening up the quiz and I'm seeing question number 1. According to the article, why did Principal Fabrizio put the fit workstations in the classroom? Fit workstations. Fit usually has to do something with exercise. When you exercise, you stay fit. So now I'm going back to my title and I'm thinking this must be something about fitness exercise rather than practice exercises. Question number 2, which of the following selections from the article best explains why fit workstations were added to Windsor Elementary School? Okay, so I need to find the selection from the article. So when I'm reading through A, B, C, and D choices, it looks like they're taken right from the article. So I need to determine which of those 4 best explains why this school added these. So I'm going to look for that as I'm reading. I'm also going to look for why Principal Fabrizio decided to put the workstations in the classroom. Okay, so why, and then what best supports that. All right, so let's go back and let's read the article. I'm going to read it a little bit quickly again in the interest of time, but you can follow along as well and read it at your own pace later. Arlington Heights, Illinois. For years, students were told to sit still at their desks. Now that has changed with the addition of exercise machines to classrooms at an elementary school near Chicago. Okay, so that answers my question. Exercise machines, kids are no longer sitting still in their classroom. On a recent morning at Windsor Elementary School, Adam Bozen, 10, hopped aboard one of the machines. It was not during gym class. Adam got his exercise while participating in silent reading time. It helps me concentrate, said Adam. He kept up a brisk pace on the elliptical, a machine that lets people move their arms and legs to stay fit. At the same time, he was deep into reading a book by Louis Sachar. Now I'm going to stop for a minute because I'm thinking I might have found something. Adam, the student who was age 10, says it helps me concentrate. And remember how one of the questions over here in the quiz is, why did the principal put these fit workstations in here? So I wonder if it's something about concentrating, helping the students learn better. So I'm going to keep reading and see if that might be my best answer. Biking and bouncing while learning. I got my homework done early the other day at a classmate, Joshua Griziak. Not sure if that's how to say his last name, but you know what, really, it doesn't matter for the purposes of understanding the article. Joshua is age 10. He said the so-called fit workstations also help him stay focused. Okay, so while his classmate back here, Adam, is able to concentrate, Joshua also was able to stay focused. I'm thinking there must be something about kids learning and staying focused here. When I'm on the elliptical, I feel the opposite of distracted, Joshua said. I'm more connected with what I'm learning than when I'm sitting. So there again, there's a quote that's saying he's feeling more connected with his learning. So I'm thinking there must be something about kids learn better. They're more focused, they're more connected than when they're just sitting. Welcome to Windsor's new FIT classrooms. Principal Shelley Fabrizio, that name came up in that quiz question, so I'm going to pay attention to this particular paragraph really strongly here. Principal Shelley Fabrizio researched ways of educating students that are meant to get them involved in learning. Okay, so she did some research. She wants to know what are some ways that I can get kids involved in their learning so that they learn better. Now she has encouraged her staff of kindergarten through 5th grade teachers to allow students to bike, bounce, and even pedal while learning. We all know that kids love to move, so we didn't want to have our students sitting all day long, said Fabrizio. The principal worked with Assistant Principal Virginia Hiltz. They created a program with standing desks, stationary bikes, and elliptical desks. There is also a rainbow-colored stool called an ergo chair. The chair looks like something out of Willy Wonka. That, by the way, is a movie. The workstations cost about $3,635 each. Hilt said workstations were rotated throughout the school's classrooms last spring to give every student the opportunity to experiment with at least one piece of equipment. Students were then surveyed so they could learn which workstations were most popular. So far what I've learned is that this principal, Fabrizio, researched a bunch of ways to help students getting them more involved in their learning so that they learn better. So in her research, she found that movement helps. So she created this program that has these different places where kids can move, standing up or sitting on a stationary bike or elliptical. So it sounds like in her research, she found that movement best helps kids with their learning. Learned about the cost. And then I learned that the students were surveyed so that the workstations, or they could learn what workstations were most popular. So let's keep going. Some of the pieces were a huge hit, and others weren't as popular, Hilt said. But the bottom line is that students loved the chance to test them out. Many even said they were able to concentrate and focus more on academics while using the equipment. And that's what we were after. That line right there, and that's what we were after. That tells me that what they were looking for was finding ways of helping kids concentrate and focus more, and they found that with these movement stations. Work where they want to work. The survey results, that must be the survey that the kids take, show that the ergo chairs were a favorite of the majority of students. So officials used funding from the school's Parent-Teacher Association, or PTA, to purchase 6 additional chairs. All appeared to be happily occupied during a recent visit to several classrooms. So many kids have attention needs, and they all have different approaches to learning, Hilt said. She added that kids can choose whether to use a FIT workstation or stay seated at a traditional table or desk. So they have these different options that kids can choose from, and I learned that they purchased more of the ergo chairs because that's what the majority of kids, according to their survey, said they liked. Okay, let's keep going. I started out with standing desks, 1 per classroom, Hilt said, and the kids and teachers just loved them. The teachers wanted some for themselves. The program expanded from there, she said. Christina Philo teaches 5th grade at the school. Philo said that when the new FIT workstations first arrived in her classroom, she was not surprised that her students reacted enthusiastically. I knew the kids would be excited and wild, and they all ran over to the elliptical, Philo said. So I created a schedule for each piece of equipment that lists all of my students' names, and when everyone has had a turn, it starts over again. Okay, so she's learned how to manage so that every kid gets an option, or gets to try out the option, by keeping a list of names. Philo added, for my more active students, being able to stand while they learn is especially important. Before, they would be wandering the room and not as focused, but now, these new desks let them work where they want to work. That's the end of my article here. It sounds like they used a lot of quotes. I know that because I see the quotation marks from the different teachers and the students and the principal to support why the students have these options in their room now. The ellipticals and the ergo chairs, they have all these different options because this is what the teachers and the students said best helps learning. Okay, now that I've read that, let's go back to the question. According to the article, why did Principal Fabrizio put the fit workstations in the classrooms? Do you remember how when we were reading the article, she said it was her goal? I need to figure that out. Oh, here it is. Many even said they were able to concentrate and focus on academics while using the equipment, and that's what we were after. They wanted kids to be able to concentrate and focus more. And then also, the principal said she did some research. Here we go. Principal Shelley Fabrizio researched ways of educating students that are meant to get them involved in learning. So from those two things there, those two pieces of the article, I'm thinking that the reason they have them is because they want the kids to learn better. So let's go back here. Choice A. She thought the rainbow-colored ergo stools would look good in the classrooms. No, there was never anything that said they would look good. In fact, they talked about how they looked silly, like something out of Willy Wonka, but that's all they said about them. B. She wanted the students to be able to exercise while in class. Well, her research wasn't that kids need to exercise. Her research was that they needed to, or what did they need to learn, and she found in the research that they needed movement, not necessarily exercise. She wanted to see which machines the students would like. Well, but she had a bigger purpose than that. She put the fit workstations in there for a reason more than just trying to find out what machines the kids would like. That wasn't her research. Her research was, how can I get the kids to learn better? She wanted to help students be more engaged in learning. I think that's it, because it talked about how she researched ways of educating students that are meant to get them involved in their learning. And then remember the quotes from those two kids, Joshua and Adam, talked about how it helps them concentrate. And I feel the opposite of distracted, so they can focus and not be distracted. So I think she wanted to help students be more engaged in their learning. So I'm going to answer D and hope that I'm right. All right, number 2. Which of the following selections from the article best explains why fit workstations were added to Windsor Elementary School? Well, remember the why is that students are more engaged, so that they're more involved in their learning, they can concentrate better. So I need to pick an option from the article that explains, or that explains why they ended up going with those movement stations. Okay, welcome to Windsor's new fit classrooms. Principal Shelley Fabrizio researched ways of educating students that are meant to get them involved in learning. Okay, but that doesn't explain why the workstations were added. It explains her research, and we find out from the research that movement is important. I don't think it's A. It might be. I'm going to see if I can eliminate any of the other ones here. B. For years, students were told to sit still at their desks. Now that has changed with the addition of exercise machines at classrooms in an elementary school near Chicago. The fact that kids were told to sit still, does that explain why fit workstations were added? No, not really. That's just kind of contrasting how we used to do school. They used to be told to sit, now there's movement. The workstations cost $3,000. Hilt said workstations were rotated last spring to give the student the opportunity to experiment. Does that explain why those fit machines or fit stations were added? No, it just explains the cost. D, some of the pieces were a huge hit and others weren't as popular, Hilt said, but the bottom line is that students loved the chance to test them out. Many even said they were able to concentrate and focus more. Okay, do you remember that last answer? The reason they had these machines was so that they could focus more. So many even said they were able to concentrate and focus more on academics while using the equipment, and that's what we were after. Okay, so that proves that they wanted the kids to learn better. So they bought the equipment so that kids could learn better. Does that support why the workstations were added so that kids could work better? Yes. So my answer is D. Now I'm not going to do the next two. Just remember, the first thing I did was I previewed the article, took a look at the title, took a look at the picture. Could have scrolled down and looked at more pictures, of course, but just in the interest of time, I took a look at the top. But hopefully you'll scroll and look at more. Then I went over to the quiz and I read the questions first so that I could find some details to look for in my reading. One of those details was in question number 1 when it said Principal Fabrizio. Then I looked for Principal Fabrizio's name as I was doing my reading, hoping that maybe that could lead me to the right answer. So I need to look for keywords in my reading. Then I went back to the quiz. Once I was done reading the article, went back to the quiz, reread the questions again, and then just eliminated the ones I didn't think were the right answers, but selected the ones that I thought were the best. It's really important to take your time and do this right so that we can get an accurate measure of how well you read. Current events articles are really important because it's just important to know about our world and know about what's important and the important happenings in our world. Now, does this article pertain to you? Yeah, because if your learning could be improved by not sitting in a desk all day, that is information that you could take to know that movement helps you learn better. All right, so hopefully these tips and tricks will help you to be more successful in your own Newsela reading and quiz taking. Good luck next time.